October 1943, the Philadelphia Navy Yard.
In the fall of 1943, the U.S. Navy allegedly conducted a top-secret experiment that defied the laws of physics. Witnesses reported a strange radioactive green fog enveloping the USS Eldridge. And then, in the blink of an eye, the entire ship simply ceased to exist. This is the story of Project Rainbow, the Philadelphia experiment. To understand the horror, you must understand the desperation. Nazi U-boats were sinking Allied ships faster than they could be built.
The field equations demanded.
The government turned to the greatest minds on Earth, Einstein and Tesla, to create a cloak of invisibility. The testing ground, the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard, a restricted zone where the impossible was about to be tested. The date is set. The crew is ready. It is October 28, 1943. Deep in the belly of the ship, the massive electromagnetic generators began to scream. The order was given: engage the field. Observers on the deck watched in horror as a radioactive green fog began to bleed from the steel itself. And then, the impossible happened. The USS Eldridge didn't just hide, it left this dimension. Moments later, the ship reportedly materialized 200 miles away in Norfolk, Virginia. But the connection was unstable. The magnetic field snapped back like a rubber band, dragging the ship back to Philadelphia. But the crew didn't come back whole. Within minutes, the Philadelphia Navy Yard was under martial law. No ambulances were called, only the military police. Survivors weren't treated as heroes. They were treated as loose ends, dragged into naval asylums, gagged and classified as mentally unstable. To hide the biological evidence, the Navy ordered closed casket funerals. The official story was a training accident. The truth was buried with them. To hide the biological evidence, the Navy ordered closed casket funerals. The official story was a training accident. The truth was buried with them. 10 years later, a man named Carlos Allende broke the silence. He claimed the ship didn't just vanish. It tore a hole through the fabric of time itself. The theory suggests the Eldridge was pulled 40 years into the future, crashing into a secret base in 1983. But the crew wasn't greeted as heroes. They were treated as invaders. Stripped, decontaminated, and treated like biological specimens. They were strapped into the Montauk chair, a device designed to rip the secrets of time travel directly from their minds. But the cruelest twist, the scientists running the experiments were the older versions of the survivors themselves.
The technology didn't come from Einstein's mind. It was recovered from a crash site in the New Mexico desert. Top physicists were brought in to reverse engineer the geometry. They weren't inventing teleportation, they were translating instructions. Anyone who asked questions was silenced. The mandate was clear: build the device or disappear. Under the cover of darkness, the device was transported across the country on a ghost train that officially never existed. The material was impenetrable. Diamond drills couldn't scratch it. Lasers couldn't cut it. Nikola Tesla warned them. He claimed the technology was volatile, a danger to the human soul. But the military didn't care. Early tests were catastrophic. Biological subjects didn't just teleport, they fused with the equipment. It was a death sentence. But, with the war going badly in the Atlantic, the generals proceed at all costs. In the dead of night, the alien device was welded directly into the hull of the USS Eldridge. When they first powered it up, the energy draw was so massive, it blacked out half of Philadelphia. The crew was told it was a simple radar invisibility test. They had no idea they were walking into a microwave oven. The captain knew the risks, but with a gun to his head, he signed the order to initiate Project Rainbow. October 28, 1943, the final switch was thrown, and reality broke. Today, the wreckage of the project still stands at Montauk Point, a rusted monument to the government's darkest secret. But locals claim the base isn't empty. Survivors who were released reported freezing in time, stuck between seconds, because the horror didn't end in 1943. Survivors who were released reported freezing in time, stuck between seconds. Some simply vanished into thin air, never to be seen again. The Navy called it molecular drift. Their bodies had become unstable. They were no longer fully anchored to this dimension. Families were told nothing. No bodies were returned, just a flag and a lie. Tormented by visions of the future and the loss of their physical form, many survivors chose to end it all. But according to legend, the experiment had a witness. A merchant sailor named Carlos Allende claimed he watched from a nearby ship as the Eldridge was swallowed by a glowing green fog. Years later, he sent packages to an astronomer named Dr. Morris Jessup. Manic letters written in bizarre, multicolored ink. He scribbled notes in the margins about physics that shouldn't exist, magnetic fields, teleportation, and the cost of the breakthrough. Jessup began to investigate the claims, but paranoia quickly set in. He told friends he was being followed by men in dark suits. Then, sudden silence. Jessup was found dead in his car. But skeptics have always doubted the official story. His research vanished from his office that same night. Whatever truth he had found was burned before it could ever see the light of day. When the ship returned, the molecular structure of the hull had changed. The crew was no longer separate from the steel. This was the secret they killed to keep. If the project was a failure, why is the base still guarded by armed patrols in 2024? Why are there fresh tracks leading into the sealed tunnels? What are they still hiding down there? Did the ship return, or is it still sailing, forever lost in the void?